What's up, guys? Today we're going to check out the Hisense PX3 Pro Ultra Short Throw Projector. And thank you to Hisense for sending this over for me to review. If you want any more information on the projector, I'll leave the links for it down below in this video's description. Inside the box, we get a blower for the lens, a dusting brush, cleaning cloth, power cable, remote control, batteries for the remote, quick setup guide, and some gloves. The projector is fairly compact, measuring 21.7 inches wide by 4.8 inches in height, 11.7 inches deep, and it weighs 19.8 pounds. On the front are Harman Kardon speakers rated at 50 watts. On the top are two safety sensors which will automatically dim the laser if you pass in front of the lens so you don't accidentally blind yourself. And the lens is located in the middle. On the right side is the power button, as well as vents on both sides. On the bottom are adjustable feet for leveling the projector on flat surfaces, and there are threaded inserts for mounting. On the back are two HDMI 2.1 inputs with support for ALLM, as well as one HDMI 2.0 input for eARC support. There's a 3.5mm audio out, as well as a USB in, LAN connection, and optical output. This does use the 0.47 DLP chip with XPR 4-way pixel shifting technology to produce a 4K image from 80 inches up to 150 inches. It uses their LPU trichroma RGB laser light source, which is rated at 3000 lumens and covers 110% of the P3 color space with a native contrast ratio of 3000:1. Laser life is rated at 25,000 hours on full brightness without any image degradation. It is Imax Enhanced certified with support for HDR10, HDR10 Plus, HLG, and Dolby Vision. And by popular demand, Hisense has brought back support for 3D. Now, unfortunately, I do not own an Xbox, but the PX3 Pro is a designed for Xbox projector.
Once you go through the initial setup, you will be taken to the Android TV homepage. This does run off of Android TV 12, and as you can see, just like every other Android TV user interface, this looks exactly the same. However, this is maybe the quickest user interface using Android TV or Google TV that I've used yet. Alright, so let's hop on over to the settings and check out all of the projector settings. First option here is the picture settings. Let's check out all the presets. We have standard, sports, PC game, energy savings, theater, and filmmaker mode. You can apply whatever settings you want to all the available sources or just to the current source. Under general, we've got content auto detection type. You can turn that on or off. Auto picture mode on or off. AI scene, this will analyze the current scene and automatically it will optimize the picture quality. Automatic light sensor will automatically adapt the brightness of the projector to your ambient light in your room. We're going to keep that off. And then under laser luminance, we have all the way up from a +10 all the way down to a 1. So I'm just going to keep this on 10 for now. High dynamic, if you turn this on, this will automatically adjust the laser brightness according to the scene to help enhance contrast. Now, if you do turn that on, this will not let you manually adjust the laser luminance yourself. So for me, I'm just going to keep that off. Here we've got sliders for contrast, black level or brightness, dark detail on or off, gamma, we've got BT 1886, 2.4, 2.2, 2.0. Active contrast, we've got off, low, medium, and then high. I personally like to keep it on low. Sometimes medium looks good, but I do find the higher that you go up, the more highlight detail you tend to clip off. So this is one of those things that I think you'll want to play with according to whatever you're watching. Then brightness enhancer, we've got off, and then we've got on, which makes the image have a slightly more bluer cast. HDR enhancer will enhance contrast and color of SDR content to look like HDR. Next section is color. We've got color slider, the hue slider, different color temperatures. We've got warm 1, warm 2, standard, and then cool. Color space, we've got native, auto, BT 709, P3, and 2020. I'm going to take the guesswork out of it and put it on auto. And then dynamic color enhancer will dynamically adjust the color vividness and enhance the color details on each scene of the picture. You can keep that on or you can turn it off. Under clarity, we've got sharpness, smooth gradient on off, super resolution, which will smooth the edge of objects and enhance the sharpness and details of the picture in real time using AI technology. We've got noise reduction, MPEG noise reduction, motion enhancement. We've got off, custom, which will let you adjust the judder and blur reduction, film, clear, standard, and then smooth. So if you want to get that smooth soap opera-esque effect, you can customize that in that section there. Then the next section here is the calibration settings. We've got the color tuner, we've got the white balance 2-point or 20-point, gamma calibration, RGB only, and full disclaimer, I am not a professional calibrator, so I will not be playing around with any of these settings. If you are a calibrator or you have the proper tools, this is the section you'll want to adjust to get the absolute best color fidelity out of this projector. And then here we've got reset all for the picture settings. Next section we're going to look at is the screen. Right now we've got picture size. This is grayed out because we're on the home screen. We've got overscan. For screen type, we've got ambient light rejecting, or we've got just standard white. And the last section here is screen size. I am projecting a 140-inch on a Screen Innovations acoustically transparent screen with a gain of 1.1. So I'm maxing out this screen size on this, which only goes up to 140, or you can go all the way down to 90. And then the next section is the sound. We've got different presets for the sound. We've got Dolby Atmos. You can turn that on or off. Different presets here. We've got standard, theater, sports, music, speech, late night, and then intelligent sound. We'll come back and check that out later. Under advanced settings, we've got acoustic tuning, equalizer. We've got a few different bands here. Wall mount setup, and then balance. Next section here is auto volume control. So if it's a little too low, it'll try to equalize everything to one constant level. We got the volume level and then the lip sync delay. Next section is EARC on or off, digital output, HDMI audio device guide, WiSA speaker settings. So if you have this hooked up to some wireless WiSA compatible speakers, that's where you would do that. Also with the wired headphones. And then audio only mode will only output audio, turning the image off. Then for audio output, we've got speaker, HDMI ARC, optical output, Bluetooth speaker only, WiSA speaker, wired headphone, or always use the speaker. Now there is another way to access the settings. If you tap on the menu button on the remote, this will bring up the settings bar. So from here you get some quick access to most of those settings that we just went through. There's also a section here where you can add or subtract specific settings as well. But now if we go into the laser settings, there is the DLP turbo mode. This mode will reduce the DLP image processing time to reduce input lag. When turned on, Keystone correction and 3D are disabled. So if you want the quickest response time for your gaming, which I believe is under 20 milliseconds, by turning this on, this disables all the processing and will give you the cleanest signal for your games with reduced input lag. Now, even though I don't have an Xbox, using the PlayStation, I find that the input lag is totally acceptable, especially with the UST projectors. This feels pretty much the same as any other UST or DLP projector that I've used, even the same as my JVC. It's not a competitive gaming monitor, but once you get used to the controls, then I don't see why you would have a problem playing any kind of sports games or any games in general with this projector. Maybe if you are a diehard video gamer, then that could be an issue, but for me personally, it's totally fine. Also, by going into the laser settings, you can go into the auto keystone correction mode and the manual keystone correction mode. So from here, you can pick any one of these 4 points. By selecting it, you can move the corners in to try to square up the image as closely as possible with your screen or with your wall. Of course, you want to get this as square as possible out of the box without using keystone correction. Otherwise, you will be effectively chopping into the effective useful pixels of the projector. So if you are getting 4K resolution by using the digital keystoning, you are actually eliminating now that 4K resolution by chopping away at pixels digitally. So the best thing to do is get this as square as possible with your screen or your wall. And then you can also manually adjust the focus. So by pressing up or down, you can change the focus of the projector. As far as focus uniformity, it's as sharp as it is in the lower corners as it is in the upper corners, as well as the center of the screen. Usually with some of these UST projectors,
The further corners or the upper corners are usually out of focus compared to the lower corners, so this is great that focus uniformity is equal amongst all four corners across the entire screen. Now to test out the tone mapping, I used the Spears and Munsell disc to demo 600, 2000, 4000, and 10,000 nit scenes. The first ones here is with tone mapping turned off. I'd say at 600 nits it's pretty acceptable, but the other three are unwatchable and extremely blown out. Turning tone mapping on, 600 still looks the best, but now with the other three shots, you can actually see the trees in the background and also the grass in the foreground. The same shot in Dolby Vision reveals even more details in the foreground, and there's even more trees in the background, which does get lost in the 10,000 nit version in HDR10. Dolby Vision always seemed to outperform HDR10 with tone mapping active. That being said, the tone mapping still did a great job with HDR10 and is one of the best USTs that I've seen so far with tone mapping.
Another setting here that I want to check out is the dark detail. So right now this is a scene from Blade Runner 2049. Right now this is the detail off, which still looks great by the way. But let's go ahead, turn it on, and you should be able to see the difference between off and on. This doesn't look to be hindering any highlight detail or anything like that, but it does tend to bring up the shadows just a little bit more, just to give us a little bit more information down in the black levels. So I actually like to keep this on. I don't find that it hurts the picture at all, but it does help to bring up the black levels just a little bit. Not enough where it's raising the black floor, but I do find that you do get some more information in the shadow detail. And again, if we take a look at this scene here, this is the LG OLED black level demo. And as you can see, the black levels are about as dark as you can possibly get, especially with a DLP in this price category. It's not perfect OLED black levels, so the black levels do kind of tend to be really, really, really dark gray. Again, it's still the best looking black levels that I've seen on an ultra short throw yet. And just as far as the image quality alone, this is, again, to me, the best looking as far as the black levels, and the colors just have an immense amount of pop. If I didn't already have a JVC projector and I had the space for an ultra short throw, I would be absolutely happy using this as my main projector. And if you are concerned about seeing pixels on screen, this is going to be very difficult to see the pixels on screen unless you are just a couple of feet away from the projector screen itself. I'm going to say like 9 feet away where I usually sit, I don't see any type of pixels. Like this is just as good as any native 4K JVC or Sony that I've seen. So if you don't have the spare change to drop on a JVC or Sony, I think you would be perfectly satisfied with this Hisense ultra short throw. Now I am happy to report that Hisense has listened to all of the fans out there. Most of the other UST projectors out there do support 3D. Unfortunately, in the past, Hisense has omitted 3D, but I'm glad to announce that they do support 3D in this iteration on the PX3 Pro. And just like all of the other UST projectors that I've seen previously, the 3D effect in this looks just as good, if not better, than a lot of the other ones. This has a very bright picture. I still think possibly the AWOL 3000 that I reviewed a few years back does have a slightly brighter picture than this one, but still, this is plenty bright where it can light up a 140-inch image and give it some really nice pop, and it's got some really great depth. So for all the 3D fans out there and Hisense, thanks for bringing 3D back. And if you are interested in picking up this projector and you are a 3D fan, I can say that you will get a fantastic 3D viewing experience from this projector.
Let's move in the unit. Okay, buddy.
So, where are we really going? How did you know? You hate the water.
I heard about this place, Nala. The most incredible, amazing.
Just tell me where.
An elephant graveyard.
Whoa. How far is it?
Not far, just to the shadows. But don't worry, everyone's been there.
We've never been that far before. What if we get lost?
Relax, Nala. I patrolled the entire kingdom this morning with my dad. There's nothing to worry about.
Well, there is one thing.
We have an imminent threat. Something is approaching. Oh, wait, scratch that. That's my own shadow.
Now, from all of these different sound modes, I do find that keeping Dolby Atmos on does sound the best. It's not going to make it sound like there's a room full of speakers, or you're not going to hear anything flying over your head or even around you, but the soundstage is a little bit wider and the bass is slightly deeper sounding. So the audio is a bit more fuller sounding with Atmos on than off over any of the other sound modes. At least that's what I hear from listening to all the different types of content.
At the time of this video, the PX3 Pro is selling for $3,500. This is easily the best Hisense that I've used yet. I haven't used all of them, but this is the best one. I'd even go as far as to say that it is the best ultra short throw that I've used, and the tone mapping works wonders. It's got a crispy 4K image with impressive black levels, much better than I was anticipating, and the 3D performance is truly a knockout. I will say that if you are sensitive to the rainbow effect, I did see it from time to time if I was moving my eyes around rapidly, so this will be dependent on the individual watching. Overall, this could very well be the best ultra short throw projector of the year. I haven't seen every single one of them, but I'm confident in saying that this will be a very hard UST projector to beat. Now, if you do want to grab one of these projectors, I will leave a link for it down below in this video's description. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again in the next video.